Welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I wanted to be able to give you some insights as to all the emails you've been getting from me this week about the virtual strategic planning retreat. And before I even go into any of that and being able to answer your questions and how this might best serve you and how I can really support you along your journey, I want to tell you a little bit about why I do this. And especially with the strategic planning retreat, the reason that I put it together is because when my husband, Steve, and I, we had our previous firm, we had 11 employees, and I was working a lot of hours. I would miss dinners a lot of times in the evenings, sporting events with the kids on weekends because I was catching up on back office work that I couldn't get to during the day. And after a while, I started to burn out, but it was really the eye-opener when I realized the cost of how this was not just affecting me, which I tolerated a lot, but it was also about the price that the family paid because of the fact that I was working too many hours each and every week. So that was something to think about. But the other thing that I really saw with having a business is that for many years, we grew it organically, and there were lower priced firms that were in the same community as us. And we realized that we couldn't compete with them because they were serving clients that weren't necessarily a right fit for us. They were offering lower prices that we couldn't offer, and we didn't want to offer. And then when certain things were happening with the economy or with need, it affected us, and we would have to do like a knee-jerk reaction to kind of pivot to be able to adjust to those things. But it then created a lot of frustration and stress that we could have prevented if we would have had more of a strategic plan. And as we started becoming more strategic about who we wanted to serve in the community and how we wanted to set up our firm and what we offered, that's when things really started to change. So it was the difference between organic growth, where you just accepted everybody that was willing to pay your fees. We couldn't really differentiate ourselves. And we ended up with clients that weren't necessarily a right fit for our firm's culture, and really got very intentional about who it was that we wanted to serve, what we offered them, how we were different than similar businesses and agencies in the community. And that was something that really made a difference, not just in the business itself, but also it allowed us to raise our quality of life as well. And like I said, this is something that is near and dear to my heart. I've been on the burnout side. I know the toll that it takes, not just on you, but on everybody around you. And I wanted to be able to find a better way, which I saw the benefits of it. And that is really why I'm teaching this now. So the other thing is that I wanted to focus on what the retreat covers. It actually has 3 phases to it. The very first part of the retreat, and it's November 9th and 10th from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 4 Pacific. So it's all live group sessions. We're talking with each other. We're getting inspiration from each other. You can pick my brain. I don't hold back. I give so much value because I want you to win and have a firm that actually raises the quality of life instead of draining the life out of you in order to meet your revenue needs and serve your clients. So the very first part of the retreat is going into the vision. And it's really getting clear about what does that dream firm look like for you? What would that be like? Who would you be serving? And this is really sometimes a far off dream, and for others it's a little bit closer because they've been on this journey for a while. But this is really where you start to get that vision of what you would like it to look like, and that starts to really help us then get into phase 2. And phase 2 of the retreat is the strategy. So now that we know the destination of where you want to go, now we're going ahead and putting in those milestones and those steps in order to be able to start going there. That way, when opportunities come to you, and even if you're someone that loves to say yes to everybody, you can be more discriminating and you're going to make better decisions because you can decide whether these opportunities are aligned with what it is that you want to achieve, or if they're going to have you veer off your path and actually be a distraction. That might sound really great and fun at the moment, but it's not really aligned with where you want to go. So that's something to think about also, is not just the vision, the strategy. And then the third part that we really dig into is the action steps, because I love hearing about the results that people get, and not just the results regarding the revenues or that you can build your team, but the results that I love to wrap my mind around and hear most is how this has raised the quality of your life because you took the risk of having your own firm and really stepping away from the sure thing of being a W-2 and working for somebody else. So if you're going to take the risk of owning a business, you deserve to have one that raises your quality of life instead of draining the life out of you. And that's where we need to have the action steps, so that this isn't just a good intention. It feels like a pipe dream. You know exactly what to be doing and what to focus on at certain times throughout the course of your journey, so that you're very, very intentional. Because so often we know what we want, but we don't know how to get there. And that is what keeps us from delaying or postponing or getting stuck in research and not actually taking those steps. So not only do we get the longer term steps, but by coming to the retreat, I want you to know the exact next step that you need to take right now. And by doing that, you're more likely to actually get into the action stage and continue moving forward with it, because this isn't just a business goal. A business goal is where it's very, very fine-tuned, and you're building it from where you are now to where you want to be. And it's very much where either you're on track or you're not on track. So you're either succeeding or you're failing. And that's not really how businesses evolve. It's more of an evolution and a journey. And the difference between that goal setting and the strategic plan is that we're starting with the end in mind, and we're reverse engineering to where you are now, but also that it has the ability to be flexible and allow you to make corrections as you're moving forward and you're gaining more clarity and awareness of the direction that you want to go in. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen of inside the retreat. So basically, everything is live group coaching. We're really going to go ahead and have conversations. You're going to get ideas from listening to other people. Other people might get ideas from listening to you. And the other part is, because I attract a certain type of person to me, there's the opportunity to actually form alliances or have further conversations with someone that you just met during the retreat that might be having a win-win for both of you as well as for your clients. So because of the fact that you show up, you might find a great opportunity or alliance simply because of the type of community that I attract. But this is the inside page of the retreat. So this is where you have actually an opportunity to have an additional private coaching session with me, so I can really talk with you, get your hands on your plan, fine tune it with you. So it really, really is something that inspires you and you're ready to move forward with, even if you don't have the confidence. And I'm going to let you know, with so much of our business evolution and journey, you might not have the confidence in the beginning. It's about having the courage and doing it, even though it feels a little risky, and the confidence comes later. So that's the first part, is if you wanted to go ahead and also opt in for an additional private session with me to get my hands in your business and help you fine tune things and see how to make this work, you have that opportunity. But then the next thing, and this is going to be released and open later on today, is that there's some prep work for you in order to be best prepared for our time together. One is a self-assessment to really see what it is that you want to focus on in order to get the best results possible for 2023. So that is the best. First thing is there is an assessment. And then the next thing is some of the bigger picture strategies to start thinking about in order to be able to move forward and have more of what you want in order to strategically grow your business, instead of organic, where you have a client ask you to do something, you say yes because it brings in revenues today and it lets you continue to serve your client and reduce any conflict or them possibly moving on somewhere else. So what are some of the must-have strategies in order for you to succeed? to start getting those thoughts going. And then the last one that's part of the pre-work is starting to think about not only growing a little bit, but thinking about, okay, that longer term vision of your dream firm. That is really a 10x type of vision, because some things need to be done differently in order to be able to set your business up for that 10x vision of success. And the thought about that, really big picture thinking, no matter where you are, it's thinking about how to turn maybe your yearly income into your monthly income without feeling like a slave to your business. So that is some things to think about. And not that that appeals to everybody, but just starting to think a little bit differently about that really opens up opportunities and new thoughts that you wouldn't have had otherwise. So that's the pre-work for the retreat, is the self-assessment here. And that helps me know where it is so I can best serve you. Some of the must-have strategies for success. And then the third part is really starting to look at what that dream firm is for you so that you can get more clarity. Now, during the retreats, in each portion of the meeting, there will be handouts that go along with it so that you can come back to them along the way and be able to continue doing the work. Some of the things is really figuring out what is that future vision that you have for yourself. That's where we start off, is with that dream that you have of your dream firm, what that looks like. And then, like I said, we reverse engineer from there. The next part I'm looking at also is, what is it that differentiates you and your firm? And when I use the word firm, that is whether you're a solo business owner or whether you already have a team. But what is it that differentiates you from everybody else that might be doing something similar, and not focusing on the weaknesses? This is about focusing on the strengths and what really separates you from everybody else. The next thing is, instead of having this long, boring, drawn out business plan, which most people don't have, and even if they do, they're probably filing back away in the back of their file cabinet until they pull it out next year and they go through this exercise again. What I want to do is really take it and focus on just the essentials, because you can have a very strategic business plan or strategic plan, and it's very, very simple. It's not something that's overcomplicated and overwhelms you, because let's face it, you're already busy. So I really want to show you how to keep it simple so you can actually use it and you can see where it fits in, and you can carve out, whether it's 1 hour a week or more than that, whatever it is for you. So you are consistently working on your business instead of solely working in your business, because having even just a little bit of time working on your business is an advanced move, and is going to be what takes you forward faster to having that dream firm. After that, the next thing is the cash calendar math. Let's dive into the numbers. Your financial people, you are in everybody else's numbers all day, every day. I want to take a deep dive into your numbers so we know exactly what the numbers are in order to meet your revenue needs, but not have to have it be overflowing into your personal life also. The other thing is raising your rates calculator. How do we start to calculate your new rates, and what would they look like? If that is something that interests you, and the majority of my clients, I am working closely with them because everybody undercharges. So how do we start to look at raising your rates? And something to think about here, and I was just talking about this earlier in the group of accounting professionals that I work closely with. We have a monthly meeting, and we had it earlier today. It was all about raising rates, but not with their new clients, going back to their legacy clients. And what are some of the strategies and things to think about with getting your legacy clients up to your new rates? And then the last, actually not the last thing, there's more. So these are handouts you can come to at any time. If you don't have time to do them during the retreat. So this is resources for you to continue having, is how to be able to give yourself a raise, and what is that number for you that feels like a stretch, but also is inspiring you. So that's something to think about. The other thing is, you guys are busy. So how to be more effective as well as efficient in order to be able to really work at that higher level and not feel like a slave to your business. So if you haven't been doing some of those activities that you enjoy doing, whether it's personal time with your family, social activities, recreational activities, the last time you took a vacation, or maybe you took one and you weren't unplugged, you worked 8 hours a day, how to be able to do that and actually take time off and unplug, then this is really something that's going to speak to you, is finding that 25th hour, because you probably can figure out how to meet your revenue needs, but you might not be able to figure out the nuances of how to meet those revenue needs without having to work more hours. And that's where we look at things from a little bit of a different perspective. The last part is clearing the clutter, because so much of what you do might not actually be benefiting you towards having that dream firm. It might have worked when you first started out or where you are now, but what are some of the things that you might want to be thinking about and considering in order to, once again, be working on your business and doing that next level growth? So that's some of the things to think about, is how to really think at things from a different perspective of where you want to go as opposed to where you are now. And I will let you know, this is so common, is that a lot of times when we're looking at our firms, we're looking at things from where we are now, and we're not thinking about what it is that we want to do. And because that, we might be making business decisions, but they're not as intentional about how that really fits into the big picture. So that is what we're going to be covering, an overview inside that. But the other part of it, let me scroll down further, is that, okay, all the sessions get recorded. And in here, you're going to also be able to have access to all the recorded sessions. That way, if you had a little bit of time where you couldn't be there, or you wanted to go back and listen to something because you didn't quite capture it, but you really felt that you wanted to pay attention and listen to it more because you wanted to hear it a little bit differently now that you were on your own time, these recordings are there for you. They are there for you. I want you to have access for them. So once again, it will all be recorded. I know you're busy, or sometimes you're at a different place in your evolution down the road, and you want to listen to something because you now listen to it with a different type of mindset or ear. And then once again, the details of how to be able to get in there, what times they are, so that we can go ahead and really be on this business journey together. So I wanted to go ahead and see if you have any questions and open it up for discussion. So does anybody want to go ahead and let me know what questions you might have? So some other things, because I did get some questions ahead of time, and if anybody has any, either put them in the chat or feel free to unmute yourself. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But some of the questions that I received was, somebody was just starting out. They didn't even have their first client yet. And would this work for them? And I was also talking with someone here earlier before we started the actual meeting about that as well. And one of the things that I see is that a lot of people, when they're first starting out on their journey, they're taking in a wide range of clients because you need to have the cash flow. You want to have clients. It validates the fact that you're offering something. But how you start your business today, when you're starting off from just accepting everybody willing to pay your fees, is that it creates some problems maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, when your business is actually at a different phase. You're not in the startup phase any longer. And that some of those things can be preventable, especially if you have that idea of what it is that you want your business to achieve over the next couple of years. So that is something to think about, is even if you're still waiting for your first client, you're going to start out Q1 in January 2023. There's some things that you can do now that avoid you having some problems later on that you would need to take the time, money, effort, energy to fix, because of the fact that you started off very organically. So that is something to think about. And then I had questions from the other end of the spectrum. I already have more than enough work that I can handle and not interested in acquiring more clients. So how would this work for someone at that end? And basically what I would say is a strategy is to now fine tune your firm in order to really have your firm contribute to your quality life and raise your quality life. But the other thing to look at is if you're at that point where you have a more mature firm, you might be thinking about your exit strategy. And what are some of the things that you want to think about with your exit strategy to actually create or raise the value of your firm in order to have it be attractive to someone that might want to acquire it? So that is something to think about. Is you can be at both ends of the spectrum, and there's things that we can do strategically to help you really be on the best path possible. The other part is that you might have a very specific revenue goal of what you want to achieve over the next year, but you're thinking at what costs. And that is something that I look at also. Is there's several ways to be able to approach being able to reach your revenue needs and being able to do it without having to work additional hours. So that has to do with looking at how your business is set up. And this applies whether you're a solo business owner or whether you have a team with you, and also looking at how you're pricing your services, how clients are actually engaging with you. So there's some things to think about as far as that, as regarding how to be able to meet your revenue needs, but what's the cost of doing that? Because some people don't want to add any employees, or they don't want to add more employees. Or it might be that you're working already too many hours and you don't want to work any additional hours. So what would be the strategies to be able to increase your revenues without having to deal with any of those things? The other thing is that you might have an idea as to what your ideal business model is going to be, but you're not there yet. And the retreat will help you clarify the steps of how to achieve those results and give you some insights to fine tune those your operations as well. The other part is that there's likely to be people in the retreat that are already achieving what it is that you want, and you can really be able to have that discussion and get some insights as to some things that you want to consider, but you might not even have thought to have asked those questions because you're not just there yet. So that is something to think about. Oh, and another question that came in is a goal was to be able to take a 2-week vacation work-free next year. And I just want to say that is absolutely possible. And it's something I do with all the accounting firms that I work with, is I actually help them build in taking a month off without it affecting their revenues. And that is something that is possible for you to do also, whether you are once again solo or you have a team working with you. So if you want to be able to take time off and unplug, then we can talk about how to be able to do that as well. So those are some of the things to think about. Is what would be a sign of really wanting to grow your firm strategically? Is it maybe that you want to be able to have more workouts before you start your day, or you want to be able to take that time off with your family without worrying about the revenues, reducing workload? Possibly, how would this raise your quality of life if you were able to no longer feel burned out because you work too many hours? So once again, those are some of the things to think about. And as I was putting some of those things out there, what questions were coming up for you that you might want to ask, and I can clarify? Anybody have any specific questions that you wanted to focus on? And you can either let me know in the chat or feel free to go ahead and unmute yourself. So what would be part of your dream firm? Would you be increasing revenues, growing your staff, having a certain higher quality of services where you were doing less and less of the day-to-day as a technician and doing more of the higher level advisory services? So think about that. And then Helena was asking, will this be physical meeting or via Zoom? This will be via Zoom. So it will all be on Zoom, just like we're here now, and being able to have these conversations, have private chats. So that is how it's set up. And Julie, you went ahead and unmuted yourself. So was there a question that you wanted to ask?
Yes, actually, just wanted to ask if you have best testing / screening resources. I think we've talked about it a long time ago, but I'm in a position now hiring, as you know, hiring a couple people, and don't want to hire the wrong people. So once you get people in the door, that's one, hurdle, right? But do you or anybody else have kind of the best maybe personality screening testing that you like to use?
So that is something to think about. Is the one that I tend to use, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, Julie, but I will get back to you on that.
Okay.
But there is one that I like to use. I know that there's others that are more popular out there, but I don't have that right in front of me. I'll get back to you on that. Julie, did you participate in this last year?
Did I what?
Did you participate in the retreat last year?
No, I think just the first year, like probably 20, we first joined.
So that you participated in the strategic retreat before, right?
Yes.
And what are some of the things that you've seen because you've been more strategic in growing your firm, and you've been able to really pinpoint some of the things or directions that you want to take your firm in?
Well, I think the retreat itself was really valuable in creating kind of a structure and a breakdown and then prioritizing, because with all of us, it always seems a little bit overwhelming what to tackle first, and we all, I think to some degree, know we need to change certain things or maybe, kind of what to do, but taking that next step and kind of drilling that down into manageable pieces and steps. And it's helpful hearing from other people's perspectives and kind of what's been helpful for them. And that kind of helps drive that. So that's certainly really valuable. And then just kind of on the pricing piece, getting different perspectives and gaining, confidence in really getting closer connected to our value and not discounting it.
And Julie, I just wanted to ask you one more question because you've been part of my community for a while now. What have you seen about being able to have these deeper dive conversations with a community of peers as you're moving forward with your firm?
It goes both ways. I mean, being a part of this community and having an opportunity to maybe help someone else out is really rewarding. And as you're doing that, it also makes you reflect on your own firm and the things you've gone with. It's also, of course, we've been the recipient of really great advice from you and the rest of the community. Everyone seems very willing to jump in and share their experiences, and we have a lot of similar experiences in terms of not just pricing, but staffing issues or just dealing with a particular problem that is consuming us for that day, and working through it to get your head clear to know where you want to go next. So all of those have been super valuable pieces of being.
And I appreciate you letting me share that with you. So thank you so much for just sharing what your experience has been being in a community type setting. And so with something for everybody here to think about is, as firm owners, you have people coming to you all day with their questions, expecting answers. But when you have questions about your own firm and its growth, who do you go to? And when you get stuck, it then has frustration. It takes time because you have to do the research or look at the best option. And it might cost you money because the fact that you can't take advantage of certain opportunities that are there right now. So that's something to think about, is really being able to have access to insights that you can take action on and move forward with quickly. Ted was asking, why do I think so many accounting firms are solos? I think that it depends. I've seen them all where it starts out solo and then some people grow and other people decide that they don't want employees. So I think it depends on the business and what they're looking for. Are they looking for something that is going to support their lifestyle, or is it that they don't feel like they have the leadership and the skill set? They don't want to manage people, or it could be that they starting out solo and they do eventually want to grow. But as most of us have seen in the industry, getting those right employees for your team is probably one of the biggest challenges out there. So that is something about maybe why so many are solo. Is it could be either a lifestyle change, a leadership thing, or it could be that they haven't found the right fit people yet. Anybody else have any questions about the retreat and anything that I can answer for you? You can either put in the chat or you're willing, or you can unmute. I am happy to have a conversation with you. And if this is something that interests you, once again, it is something that is going to be next week. The pre-work will be available later on today, so you can immediately roll up your sleeves and start thinking about where it is that you want to go. The retreat is next week on November 9th and 10th. That's a Wednesday and Thursday from 4 to 7 Eastern. It is 1 to 4 Pacific. All the sessions are live. They will all be recorded. There's also handouts for you to be able to do either along during the retreat. We'll be doing some of them, as well as for you to be able to go back to them as resources afterwards as you're getting some more insights along the direction. But there is definitely a direct difference when you're growing your firm organically versus strategically. And I just want to be able to help you take charge of your firm instead of your firm taking charge of you, in order for it to then support your life instead of drain the life out of you. And the investment for the retreat is $500. And think about, if you can have the insight to make that one move, take advantage of that one opportunity, be able to know how to price your services, then I look at this and our time together as an investment as opposed to a cost, because I want you to win. I want you to be intentional. I want you to have that dream firm that actually supports your life instead of eventually leading to burnout. So anybody else have any questions? And once again, if that's available, that interests you, you can go to businesssuccesssolution.com/retreat. All the details are there regarding the retreat. And I am looking to really serve you to the highest level. So I just want to be respectful of our time. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the other side in the retreat. And if there's any other questions you have, please reach out and let me know. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.